Okay, our next speaker, qualified speaker in both District 100 and District 12, and now 203 and 202, and a firebrand if ever, a great speaker. He's got a great story to tell, and I don't even think he's going to tell that story tonight. He's a past district runner-up at international speech contests a couple of times at least. And he is going to talk a little bit more about technology because he's going to give us the lowdown on AI, right? Al Batinga, here you go.
Thank you. All right, my topic this evening is how to use less water so that we can satisfy our water usage. Anyways, my name is Al Batinga. I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to talk about simplifying AI. So think about this. I get calls. Hey, Al, Claude just came out with a new, latest, greatest concept. Let's go over to Claude. And so my friends would run over to Claude. And then somebody would say, Gemini just did this and that and this. And then people would run over there. And they would go all over the place. Let's simplify AI. It's like when I'm a business educator, trainer, and coach. And so I'll tell you a tiny bit about my background. So in the last few months, I've worked with the Navy, Port Hueneme. These are people who are in charge of the ships in Iraq, in Iran, going toward Iran. And so I was teaching them Gemini. Department of War has gone to Gemini as their product of choice, right? These are LLMs. Everybody here has known what LLMs are. They're ChatGPT, Gemini, and those kinds of things. So the Department of War is using Gemini. It's their ChatGPT. And if you're a Google house, Gemini is the perfect product because it's made by Google. And so Department of War is there. In the last few months, I've worked with Ellen Davis. They're one of the largest advertising agencies in Los Angeles. They represent McDonald's. They represent Toyota, companies like that. They're a 500-person marketing company, which is humongous as far as marketing companies are. They use Copilot. So I've trained about 150 of their people on Copilot. So here's Gemini, here's Copilot. And then not too long ago, I worked with Department of Sanitation, Orange County Department of Sanitation. We trained, Eric and one of my team trained over 100 people on ChatGPT. And then one of my biggest clients is in Reno, and guess what? They use Claude. So you got all these engines out there. They're all good. 80–90% of the commands work in all of them. Unless you have something specialized, they work in all of them. So here's my thought for us today. I want us to simplify. I want us to simplify. Don't overcomplicate chat and all of these concepts. Don't oversimplify AI. Don't worry about Claude developing this concept and that concept and chat developing this. Go with one. That's how you simplify, by the way. Choose one. It might be what your company does or not. Choose one and just stay with that. Stay with that. Stop jumping around. Stop moving around. It's the same overall for you and me. Now, for technology people and for people in programming, they have their druthers. But for the rest of us, just stay on one. Master one. So today what I'm going to talk about is 3 things to simplify. And at the end, if we have time, I'm going to answer any questions. If Forrest is up online. Forrest, if you can drop my email address, I'll be at Digitized Learning. And by the way, Forrest is one of my colleagues, and he knows AI very, very well himself. So if you have any follow-up questions, there's hundreds and thousands of questions out there. But I'm just going to help you simplify. So I'll tell you a little story. I have a friend. She's in prison. Her name's Christina. And I've been friends with her about 15 months. We met on the internet. And her and I talk for about 3 to 4 times a week, 30 minutes. Before I came in here, I was on the phone with her. And we've become good friends. So about 3-4 weeks ago, she said to me, Al, I know you want to write a speech on prison. I know you want to why don't you start recording my calls? And I said, wow, that's a good idea. I like that. So I got on to Apple. So I'm going to give you the steps to do this and the results of this. So I got onto my Apple phone and I put the phone on. I used my one of my machines to just press the record button. And so her and I would speak. And we would talk for 30 minutes. Now, at the end of it, I would press stop. And then I would say to chat, evaluate the call. And chat would come back, and it did something I did not expect. It said, Al, you're a master communicator, or you think you are. Guess what? This communication sucked. It didn't say that. I'm sharing that with you. And I said, and I'm like, what would just happen? Al, do you realize in this conversation you spoke 70% of the time, she spoke 30? Wow, that wasn't very good. That's not a master communicator. So I paused and I said, tell me more. It said, remember when Christina said this? You could have followed up with, tell me more about that. Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I think of that? So something as simple as a conversation. Think about that for a second. How many conversations do we have on a regular basis, right? How many crucial conversations do you have? How many times do you actually get to look at your conversation and say, let me pause and reflect on this conversation and see how I can actually communicate at a higher level? It struck me. I'm telling you, it gave me much more feedback. Remember when she said this? You could have said, well, how does that make you feel, Christina? You missed that, Al. You missed that opportunity. It actually berated me. Now, before I get too crazy on that, Chat knows me. I've been with it for several years. All my records are up on Chat. It has my personality assessments. I work with Chat at that level because I teach it, right? So I have to do those kind of things. It's got my medical records. The other day, I'll just veer off for a second. I said, you know, this new protein powder, is this something good that I can do? And it said, according to your blood, you've got a little bit issues on your kidneys. They have one ingredient in there that's not as good, Al. Why don't you look at this as an alternative? Think about what that means for you. I went off track here, but you can see what I'm saying. Simplify. Use things that are going to be value for you. Stop jumping around. Pick one and then get to know it, get it to know you. It knows me very, very well. If I ask it, tell me what the word expression means. It said, based on you as an educator, trainer, coach, consultant, here's what the word expression means. Think about how valuable that really is. It gives me what is called context. Context is very, very important. It doesn't just give me a word. It says, based on who you are, your goals and objectives, what you're trying to do right now, here's the word in context. That's what Chat does for me. So anyways, I went through maybe 3 or 4 lines of her. And so second conversation I recorded. Okay, Al, you're getting a little bit better, but you're still talking too much. You got a 60-40 split here. Remember this, and it would actually point those conversations to me. Very helpful for me. And I'm a good communicator. I can certainly improve, and it showed me, but it was very specific. Think about that as an application. Now, you may use that application, or maybe there's other simple applications that you can utilize based on what I just said. How simple is that? So I've recorded 3 conversations with her. Every single one of those conversations gave me some very good input. So some of you have read the book, Crucial Conversations. We all have crucial conversations on a regular basis. What if you had the ability to record one of those and actually see what was actually said? You know how much misunderstanding we have at the end? Oh, you said this, and you said that, and you said this, and you said that. What if you recorded it as a practice? Not necessarily everyone, but just a critical one, and you had Chat help and support your efforts moving forward. So that's one simple use. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the second one, and I'll give you the third one. The third one is going to be role play. I'm actually going to chat up here, and we're going to make some stuff up with you. You're going to get to see some of the things there. So that's number 1, okay? So use Chat, my suggestion for you, to help you communicate at the highest level. So let me tell you the most important skill for anybody, in my opinion, number one skill is emotional intelligence. There's 10 skills that I think are necessary. Emotional intelligence is number one. It is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship management. Guess what? That's exactly what AI does not have. If you think about that, self-awareness, it's not self-aware. Self-managed is not self-managed. Social awareness, relationship management. In this space of AI, it's a real thing, by the way. In the tech sector, there's about 200,000 jobs lost. And we're talking about 10,000 from Facebook and places like that. We're talking about high-paying, productive jobs are being lost as we speak. And by the way, what that means is it's a trickle-down effect. After those types of jobs, the average was $280,000 jobs. And every one of those jobs have at least 2 or 3 jobs related to it. But it's a trickle-down effect that you'll start to see in the next year. So if you think about what's happening there, emotional intelligence is the thing that sets us apart from AI. And so our emotional intelligence, our communication skills, our body language, our emotional content construct has to rise up, because AI's got all the technical stuff in there. Anything that's repetitive, that has a pattern. All AI is, in general, is a pattern recognition software. It understands patterns extremely well, like you can't even believe. So that's number one. You can think about that and play with that and email me if you have any kind of questions on that. Number two is something similar. How many meetings do we go to? When we come out of the meetings, we have misunderstandings, we have issues, we have challenges. Everybody took good notes. Well, I can tell you, I've stopped taking notes. Everybody around me has stopped taking notes. We let AI take notes. So AI sits there, and we turn it on and we say, we've got a meeting coming, take notes. One of my friends, who's part of our club, AJ, all 12 of his employees has a plod. It's a note taker. And every meeting they go to, it takes notes, it puts it into a central database, and they use that information. So if I were in this meeting right here, I could have turned on AI and I could say, take notes. And at the end of it, it's going to say, here's the summary of your speaker's bureau in August. Here's the action items. Here's what each person needs to be doing. Here's the open items. Here's the summary for it. Anything else, Al? Yeah, I want to know what was the most controversial topic. Here's the most controversial topic. I want to know the one that's most impactful for us as a club. Here's the one. It will talk about it. Now, you may say, Al, how does it know that? Because it's gone through 1 million, 100 million meetings, and it looks for patterns. So the second thing I want to recommend to you is to utilize it for your meetings. So think about going into a meeting hands-free. Right? You walk into the meeting and say, well, I'm so excited the meeting. I'm not worrying about taking notes. I'm not worrying about anyone here missing anything, because what it does is it creates a transcript, verbatim. So you can look at the transcript and you can look at every word that was spoken. It will identify who spoke what. So it'll say, that's from David, that's from Suzanne, that's from Forrest, that's from Al. And it will walk through, because it will identify that. And it knows and it understands. How valuable is that? And at the end, it'll say, David, you got these 3 things to do by next Friday. Suzanne, you had a question about, right? And it's going through. It's invaluable as far as meetings. So I go into meetings with that concept. So I coach. I used to do venomous notes. I mean, I'm writing vehemently. Now it's nothing. And at the end, I hit that end button. It automatically generates, and it gives me the notes to work through. And I give it to everybody else. So imagine that we had that going today. And at the end, I press end, and then I send it to all of you. You get to read it, and you get to dispute it if you want. Hey, no, I didn't really say that. Well, it's there, but that's okay. Let's adjust it. Let's adapt it. Let's work on it. Let's do something with it. Okay? So that's another one. Very simple, non-complex, not jumping around, looking at all this stuff, looking for latest, greatest, just some very basic concepts. All right. All right. The third concept I want to talk about here is I'm actually going to use chat, and we're going to talk through this and leverage it, and you'll see real time on what we're doing. And I haven't got it pre-planned. I'm just going to do it with you, and you'll get to see exactly what it's doing here as we go along. Okay? So hopefully the team can listen to this. Hey, chat.
Hey, Al, I'm here. What's up?
All right. We're in the role play session, and I've got a group of people here online as well as right in front of me, and I'm excited to work with them. And so we're going to do a role play. You up for it?
Oh, I'm up for it. Pick a scenario. 10 sales call, late employee, conflict with a peer, you name it. I'll match you live.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So how about let's do a quick sales call. Let's do two scenarios. One is the sales call. All right. So pick a scenario for a sales call. You're gonna play the salesperson because I'm not sure what you're gonna pick, and I'll play the opposite side. Okay, go ahead.
All right. I'm selling a training package. Value's long term, but price feels high. Okay, here we go. Hey, Jordan. I know budgets are tight, but if this could boost team performance by even 10%, what would that mean for your quarter?
Wow. Are you talking about 10% profit, or are you talking about 10% gross? Give me some more detail on that.
Right, right. Think of it as output per person. Less rework, faster handoffs. Revenue impact shows up as margin, not just top line. Does that hit your world?
So that would mean probably 25% of top line profit, right? For us at least.
Exactly. If your cycle time drops, throughput rises. So what would stop you from piloting this for, say, 30 days?
Well, tell me what the cost is. So you're telling me ROI is about 10%. What would the cost, what would the outlay for this be overall?
Ballpark, mid five figures for a 30-day pilot with 12 seats. Here's why it's worth piloting. We tie metrics to cycle time and error rates. If it doesn't move the numbers, we part ways. Low drama.
Well, what's the success rate on implementation? I can tell you historically, I've seen so many software implementations as well as training implementations go wrong and get nothing out of it at the end of the year. That's my history. How can you minimize that?
Fair push. In similar rollouts, about 8 in 10 hit their target when a manager owns weekly reinforcement. Without that, it tanks. If we lock that in, risk drops. Can you own that piece?
Yeah. So tell me what I would need to do to make this work.
Two things. Quick 15-minute weekly check-in using the scorecard we give you, and calling out one process you want to change. Keep it small and visible. Can we pencil a start date?
Okay, I need a little bit more information. All right, let's pause. So give me some critique. Give me some thoughts, chat.
Straight? You did well pressing on costs and risk. Next round, ask for a clear success metric and a no-go threshold. That keeps vendors honest. Want to flip roles next?
Well, give me a couple questions I should have asked.
Sure. Try these. What's your walkaway metric? If we don't hit X by week 4, we stop. And who's accountable on your side week to week? If there's no owner, we don't start. Those force clarity and protect your downside.
All right, excellent. All right, let's do one more quick one. You're late to work 6 times. I need to have a conversation with you. Okay, so it's a work environment. All right.
All right. I'm the late employee. You open the conversation.
All right. Okay.
Hey, boss.
Go ahead.
Hey, boss. Sorry, traffic's been rough. It won't happen again.
Oh, you know what? Let's set aside about 5 minutes. You had 5 minutes right now. Let's have a chat about this.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess. What's up?
So, Joe, unfortunately, you've been late about 6 times in the last month. And as you know, we have a strict policy on that. So I'd like to talk to you, maybe hear about what you have to say on that, because 6 times is awfully, it's a lot more than what I have accepted in the past. What do you think?
I know. 6 times sounds bad. Mornings have just been a mess.
Well, how come? So let me ask you this. How can we solve this? Tell me what we need to do to solve this.
Look, I've been trying to juggle a lot right now.
Okay, you're not giving me an answer though.
All right. Okay. If I adjust my start time by 30 minutes just for now and make it up at lunch, would that help? I need some time to stabilize.
Okay, so what would you need?
A temporary shift for 2 weeks. Start at 9:30, make up the time. I'll document everything.
Okay, all right, Joe, that sounds good. I like that concept. So for 2 weeks starting tomorrow, you're going to be able to come in at 9:30 instead of 9. You're going to make a little time up at lunch. You're going to document it so that we're clear. All right, as we wrap this up, I just want to say to you that I would love for you to come to me earlier on this instead of me coming after you. Don't you agree?
That's fair. I should have flagged it sooner. Thanks for being direct.
Okay, all right, let's pause. Give us 1 or 2 thoughts, critiques on this.
Tighten the middle. You did well naming impact and setting a boundary. Next time, state the impact in one sentence early, then ask for the ask sooner. I did this, here's what I propose. Keep it crisp, keep it human, then confirm the follow-up.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, on this right here, by the way, it's all textualized too. So I can go back and I can look at the text of this. So if you think about what we've done, right? So I just want to use it from a simple perspective. These are 3 things that I use that is very base, nothing fancy, but yet it helps improve my communication skills at the next level. And so let's review. So number 1 is you can look at conversations. You notice all of the ones I picked are on communication intentionally, right? Because we're all communicators, Toastmasters, speakers bureaus, and guests. And so if you think about that crucial conversation that you can utilize chat or Copilot or Claude to extract information where you can do better, where I can do better, where we can do better. And by the way, some of these tools they should be using in high school because it's a great tool to utilize. And then number 2, what was number 2, anybody? Go ahead.
He was talking to chat.
Okay.
You're talking to chat about business.
Okay, good. Meetings. So when you go to meetings, use chat. And just say, chat, take notes. And by the way, you can pre or post. What do I mean? I can click on it and say, chat, we're going to do a meeting on sales. Take notes, extensive notes on this, and look for A, B, C. I can do that. Or I can do it after the fact, right? And last but not least, use it for role plays. I'm going to have a crucial conversation with my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my husband, my wife, my coach, my mentor, my club leader. And it's a conversation that's a little tough. I'm going to utilize chat to role play. Think about how many times do we actually role play our conversations. Anyways, let me wrap up with AI is here to stay, despite the water usage. Okay? AI is here to stay. There needs to be boundaries, but the fear is, I'll give you the thought on the fear, is that if we put boundaries on it and China doesn't put boundaries on it, then we'll be behind. That's the thing behind the scenes that we don't talk about. And Russia will be ahead of us and Spain will be ahead of us because none of those countries will put boundaries on it. They're hard at work developing. So there's some issues there. But anyways, we're not going to solve that. We need boundaries. We need it is a powerful tool. And so don't be afraid of it, embrace it, but use it for the simplest things that you can, even simpler than what I gave you. Utilize it, master it at the bottom level, and stop worrying about the latest, greatest. And, one of my friends said, hey, Claude just did this, and it went off to Claude. A month later, he came back and said, you know what? It's costing me much more to go to Claude because of the tokens. And so guess what? He's back on chat now. Or wherever you're at, they're all good. They're all supportive. Use it as a tool, not a crutch. So let me close with, I spoke to a high school audience and I said to them, let me just tell you all, everything chat can do, I can do. Can you say that? Think about that.